One of the most exciting things is when you blind buy a fragrance and it turns out to be absolutely amazing. And you know what? That's what I got here when I bought Lattafa's vintage radio. And I want to talk about this one. So what do we have here? This is a clone of Initio Parfum's Paragon. But you know what? I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. We're going to talk about this first. So if you're not familiar, Lattafa is a clone house, which means they make dupes of already famous fragrances. And you know what? They do it very well. They do have some of their original fragrances, which are good. But I'm gonna say the dupe of this one is absolutely phenomenal. Let's just get that right out of the way. This is phenomenal. The first thing, as you notice, as most people do with this fragrance, and I've seen a lot of hate about it, it's the bottle design. I mean, look at that bottle. It has a vintage radio on it. And I don't know, I mean, what does that have to do with the smell? I mean, in my opinion, absolutely nothing. I mean, I don't really get what they're talking about when they say vintage radio with how this smells. It's not old smelling. It is old. It's not old smelling. It doesn't smell like a vintage radio per se. I don't know. I mean, but you know what? I don't hate it. I actually like the vibe. I like how it looks. The design is cool. The art is cool. The bottle feels really nice too. It almost has like this rubbery suede kind of a feeling. It almost feels rubber, like the back of it. It's really cool, very heavy. You know what I can say for the price point of this, which once again we'll talk about later, the bottle feels more high quality than, you know, a $200 designer bottle. We'll just leave it at that. Let's do a couple sprays here. Let's do a couple on the arm. Very nice. Wow, super great atomizer. Do you see how strong that was? Wow. Now it's time for the nose and vintage radio. So stupid. Lavender, sage, bergamot, palo santo, plum, black pepper, sandalwood, and oud, a nice synthetic one. Right off my first impression, the first thing that came to my mind was like a Go-Gurt. Do you remember Go-Gurts? The fruity yogurts in a pouch that was designed to take on the go? That's what, right off, that's what this smelled like. But let me do one more spray. Let me give you a serious one here. Okay. Here's what I got. Right up top, you get hit with this juicy, bright, citrusy smell, and you get a juicy plum note right off that's really good. It just, I don't know, kind of just captivates you right off. The opening of this is phenomenal. It's very aromatic. I definitely pick up like hints of lavender in here. You get the lavender, not overly, but it's an aromatic fragrance. So once again, right up top, I get the juicy plum note and I get citruses and a little bit of lavender. It is a spicy fragrance too. And you know, I don't know where that's coming from. You do get a little bit of spice in there. It's not overly spicy. It's a bright, happy spice. It's like, let's slap it across your face kind of a spice. You know, it almost gives me like, you know how the spice is? It's almost like a peppery cola kind of vibe, a pop smell. Once again, I'm gonna say pop because that's what I say, but like a pepper, like picture a fruity soda. That's kind of like the initial vibe you get, like a fruity soda. Are you familiar with Faygo? Almost like a rock and rye, something like that. That's just kind of like the vibe you get from the opening. You get a very nice citrusy plum note, and honestly, the plum note in here is very juicy and nice. But where the magic really starts to happen with this fragrance is in the dry down. It's absolutely, it's just really good. There is a really nice, sweet, creamy sandalwood in this that mixes with the plum. Absolutely, it's just fantastic. Picture a very creamy, just amazing plum, sandalwood, woody smell that's so good. And then, you know, you do get a little, what Palo Santo wood is in this. So you do get a little bit of an amberwood smell. And I mean, honestly, it just works very good. I would say, I mean, this is definitely a sweet fragrance, but it's not overly sweet. It's not a gourmand. This is not an edible gourmand fragrance, yet that plum note is juicy. But I mean, it's just really solid. So once again, right up top, you get hit with some citruses and a nice juicy plum note, and you get a little bit of spice that gives it like a fizziness, and then it dries down into this nice creamy sandalwood and plum, and it's just a very cool fragrance that just comes off very captivating and alluring and amazing. And the aura from this, you know, the aura cloud around you is, I don't know, it's top notch, honestly. You may be asking yourself, how is the performance of this fragrance? I mean, you know, the projection and the longevity. I will say for my specific bottle, it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, the performance is great. The longevity of this, I sprayed it on a coat the other day because of course it's still chilly where I live for some reason. And honestly, I could smell it for like 72 hours. It lingered like I just sprayed it. And I was like, what is that smell? Because the coat was in the back seat of my car. And I was like, what is that smell that I'm not familiar with? And I smelled my coat and I was like, wait a minute, that's vintage radio. That's what that smell is. And you know, as far as the silage, the projection, I mean, it's really good. I wouldn't say it's ultra beast mode, but it's very, very close. I mean, 2 sprays of this, honestly was all I needed. And for 2 sprays of something, that's pretty good. I would say that's top tier when it comes to performance. So check that box if you're wondering about it. And to me, this is a very unisex fragrance. I mean, okay, if we're really gonna nitpick that, it's slightly more masculine. But I mean, it's pretty unisex down the middle, but not quite the middle. I don't know, but a woman could definitely pull this off. It just has a very cool vibe to it. But my personal opinion is I think it's a little bit more masculine, but I wouldn't hate if a woman did wear this. So who would wear a fragrance like this? You know, when I think of somebody cool enough and smooth enough and suave enough to wear a fragrance like this, you know, just the first person that comes to my mind, I don't know why, but it's Snoop Dogg. You know what, in Snoop Dogg, if you don't wear this, you should check it out because I don't know, it has that vibe. And you know what, if you don't like Snoop Dogg, that's one thing, but we have to all agree that really nobody gets cooler than him. I mean, how do you get cooler than Snoop Dogg? You really can't. You know who else is cool? You know who is as cool as Snoop Dogg that would wear this? It's probably Ricky from Trailer Park Boys. That's the other person that comes to mind now. Who's a cool female that would wear this? The vibe that this would give off to me for a female that would be cool enough to wear this would be Jennifer Garner in the 2003 film Daredevil. Are you familiar with that character? She played Elektra. That's who would wear this. That's how cool you have to be. That's what this makes you feel like. It's like that. I don't know, this is just a very unique fragrance. I mean, it's very versatile too. You could easily wear this in any season. You know, I could see this in the winter, it would be good, but at the same time, it has enough freshness and fruitiness in it where you could definitely pull this off in the summer months. Maybe not extreme heat. You know what, wear it in extreme heat. For me personally, I feel like it leans more summer, and I don't know why, because there is definitely a spicy amber wood in this that I could see it working better in the cooler months, but the freshness and the plum note, it just gives me a nice, lazy, like Sunday summer morning vibe where you're just gonna spray it on and chill all day and be cool. It's just, I don't know, it's so unique and different smelling. I've really never smelled anything else like this except for Initio's Paragon, which we're gonna talk about again later, but I don't know what it is with this fragrance. It's almost calming when you put it on. It has like a calming effect, but yet it's energizing at the same time. I don't know, it just feels cool. Like when I wear this, I feel like a cooler person. I feel like that ups my coolness, and it's a very smooth fragrance. That sandalwood is so creamy and smooth that it comes across when you wear it. You're like, wow, I feel smooth. Almost like, I don't know, not quite smooth criminal Michael Jackson 1980s video smooth, but it's getting pretty close. It's tickling at that door. I say tickling, it's when it's knocking on the door. It just has a captivating vibe. I mean, you know what? This fragrance, honestly, including the artwork, it is a vibe. This whole experience of wearing this is just a vibe. And I almost can't describe it how it is. You don't smell it, you vibe it. As far as where you can wear this, I mean, you could wear this absolutely anywhere. This would be great at the office. This would be good on date nights. This would be good on like rainy nights. This would be good at the gym. You could go hiking with this. You could fish off a boat with this. You could go to a concert with this. I don't know. You could give it to your dad. You could give it to your mother. Your son could probably wear it. You could rock this in college, and you could rock this at the nursing home. And I pretty much believe that everybody around you is gonna be like, that smells very plummy and creamy and really good. And it makes me calm. It makes me feel cooler being around it. But you know what? It makes me happy, bro. And that's what this is about, is being happy. And you know what? This makes me so happy. You know what? That is not the best part of this fragrance. I want to tell you the best part. Here's the best part. This fragrance costs $40. Which is absolutely a complete steal. If you have $40 to spend and you just want to buy a good, unique fragrance and you want to kind of blind buy it, I mean, this is absolutely perfect. I would be kind of surprised if you bought this and you didn't like it. I really would. I'd be a little surprised. You might not like the creaminess or the fresh. I don't know. It's kind of like a freshy, warm hybrid. It's kind of a weird one. Definitely worth the money. You get 100 ml for $40. And I'm gonna tell you why that's amazing. Now let's talk about what this is the dupe of. Let's talk about what this is cloning. This is a clone, like I said, of Initio Parfum's Paragon. Now let's talk about that. For a 90 milliliter, a 90 ml, which is a little bit smaller than this size, for Paragon, you're gonna spend about $370. For this one, you're gonna spend about $40. You know what? You know what's crazy? I've seen this cheaper, and it's actually on the rise for the price, which is kind of ridiculous. Another thing that's ridiculous is this is getting harder to find. It actually, you used to be able to find this all over the place, and I feel like now that it's getting out and people are just smelling it and realizing how good it is and how close to Paragon it is, it's becoming way more difficult to find. And I don't know if it's discontinued or what. I'll do some research on there, but I do know right now this is on Amazon for about 40 bucks. So check that out. I'll put some links below if you want to check it out. Let's dive a little bit deeper now. Let's get in it. Let's get in for the niche heads, the nerd. Let's talk about this a little bit. What is the difference between this and Initio's Paragon? How close are they? How good of a dupe is this? It's really good. And you know what? Let's do a good old Sidewinder spray. All right, so for this one, for vintage radio, the base of this, to me, to my nose, this has way more of an amberwood smell than the oud smell that's in Paragon. This is a way sweeter fragrance. You can definitely tell the differences. When you smell both side by side, this fragrance comes off way sweeter. So the amberwood in this, compared to the real oud wood that I would say is in Paragon, this one comes off almost like a little bit more citric, and it's definitely sweeter, and it's not, what it's missing is the smokiness. So the original Paragon has this very smooth, smoky oud in it. That's not in this one. This one is amberwood, and it's sweeter, and it's a little bit fizzier, and it's a little bit more synthetic smelling, if I'm really gonna nitpick it. So that's the differences to me. This one has the amberwood, the original has the oud smokiness, a little smoother. This is definitely smooth. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is a smooth fragrance. It's just sweeter with the amber vibe, where the other one leans a little bit smoky and has the oud wood vibe that just penetrates a little bit more. For how accurate this is, I would say this is about 90 to 95% close to Paragon. I mean, we're talking, if you spray this, no one's gonna know the difference. You literally have to spray both of them and smell them side by side to really nerd out and nitpick the differences, which there was differences, but it's not enough to justify the price in my opinion. Like I said, Paragon by Initio, $370 retail for the 90 ml, where you can get this for about $40 for 100 ml. And the smell is 95% there, and the quality is just great. In fact, this, to me, this should win an award. Do I have an award? You know what, let's start it on this channel for the first time. I'm gonna give out awards. And for me, this is the Dupe of 2023 award, because this fragrance is a little bit underground and it's very unique, and not many people talk about Paragon, and I don't hear people honestly talking about vintage radio too much, but you know what? This wins my award. This is a 10 out of 10 for a dupe. For the smell, I'm gonna give it probably like an 8.5 to 9. It might not be your vibe, but I don't know, it should be your vibe. So let's ask ourselves that famous question. What do you choose? Are you going super snobby niche, high quality? You want the best ingredients, no synthetic, nothing. You wanna go pay $370 retail, or be suave and get it on a trade group for way cheaper? Then you can go do that. You can take Initio's Paragon because it's fantastic. It really is. But you know what? For me, I'm personally gonna stick with this one. I don't have a full bottle of the Initios. I have a 10 milliliter decant that I use to compare these two, but I'm gonna stick with this one because it's that good. It's so close. I don't feel guilty owning this over the Initio, not at all. So, you can make that decision for yourself. And by all means, I would love to chat longer, but unfortunately, my DoorDash food has been sitting on the porch for like the last 25 minutes, and I gotta go get it, to be honest. And I'm really hungry, so see you guys.